Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Taiwo Akinwande. I'm a parent in the Intentional Parenting Academy. I'm a YADA, so yes, we call ourselves YADAs. I got to know about the academy online. At a point, I was, how do I put it? I was searching for solution. I attended an online class, a teens parenting stuff, and from there, the person who organized it, I followed her on the internet, and then I noticed she was following someone called Wendy Ologe, Intentional Parents. So I started to follow, and since then, it's been from one level of success to another. So I eventually got to attend the T-Panel conference in 2021. And I also took part in the Emotional Challenge course. And since then, I registered to join the inner circle of the Intentional Parents Academy. Since joining the inner circle, I have changed. So I joined with the intention of finding a solution to, of course, parent my children. But guess what? I have changed completely from the person I used to be. Every area of my life, apart from parenting, has been touched. Spiritual, career-wise, I'm able to make informed decisions, and people see me and like, wow, Taiwo, you really changed. I'm happy to have met Coach Wendy. Each time I get the opportunity to talk to her or make comments, I say, oh yes, Coach has been a blessing. So the TIP Annual Conference is coming up again this year. We have over 30 speakers already set to deliver. I can assure you that it's going to be a wonderful experience. I wouldn't miss it for anything, and I wouldn't want you to miss it. Take my word for it. If you attend the conference and you don't get value, you can come back to me and we'll take it up from there. So TIP Annual Conference 2023 is here. Don't miss it. Thank you.
Your child's future lies in every decision you make for them, and you will agree that education is a major one that deserves your full attention. Are you looking for an opportunity for your child to further their studies abroad? Look no further than our trusted study abroad educational consultancy. At Delphi Education, we believe in providing life-changing opportunities for your children. Our expert advisors are trained to coach your child all the way until they achieve their dream university. We have academic partnerships with recognized and accredited universities in the UK, US, Canada, Germany, Australia, and Ireland. At Delphi Education, we believe in the power of education and the transformative experience it brings. Sending your child abroad isn't just about academics, it's about personal growth, forming lifelong relationships, creating a global network, and putting them on a higher pedestal that will foster their success in life. Our services do not stop at finding the right university for your child. In fact, we work with you until we secure your child's visa and accommodation, and we make sure that our support keeps going until your child is completely settled in. At Delphi Education, we are proud to be able to offer all our services for free for you. Contact us today and give your child the gift of a lifetime. Visit our website at www.delphieeducation.co.uk or email us at info@delphieeducation.co.uk to start your child's study abroad journey today.
At 29 and I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be yours. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours. Is this?
Yes, we are still at the war front. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 5, and this is session 4. In case you're just joining us, my name is Tolulope Wisdom, and I'll be your host for this session. Amazing. It's such an honor and a rare privilege to be here tonight with us. And I want to say a special thank you to my amazing coach. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you very, very much. And to the TIP team at large, thank you for this rare privilege. I do not take it for granted. Thank you. So right now, I know some of us were at the last session, right? Coach Precious, as a matter of fact, for me, I didn't know where the time went because it was as if she had not even started talking when the when the moderator came up. I'm like, wow, 40 minutes gone like that. So I want you to share in the comment section what your wow moments were at that last session. For me, it's that I should be a neurosculptor. You know, every child, it's now I understand that there's nature and there's nurture. So I need to leverage on both for my kids. So for you, share in the comment section. Let's see what your own wow moments were. It was really an amazing moment, and I'm sure you had your own word. What was the word that stood out for you in that session? Let's go quickly. Yes. Children thrive more when they are allowed to do dangerous things carefully. Yes. We have to guide them. We have to create scenarios for them to do stuff. Let's give it. Let's give it. Come on. We are not quiet people like Coach will always say. We are not quiet. So share in the session, please. Children start learning from the womb. Amazing, amazing. Children start learning from the womb so they can hear. Great. Play. I remember Coach Precious mentioned something that there won't be any neurosculpture without play involved. So we have to allow them to play. We should reduce screen time. Thank you so much for your amazing contributions. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So right now we are going to be taking a message. But before then, I just want to talk to us quickly about the Intentional Parenting Academy. That is a flagship program of the TIP. Here we have the conference, but we have like a selected class where we do all the things. You can see on your screen this service, this academy. I'm a beneficiary. It's been serving for serving over 3,000 families, and your family, I think, should be the next beneficiary. It runs from December 1 till the end of November, and you can just be a partaker. Our fees are going up next month, but you still have time. Today's 28, right? So you still have about 3 days to maximize the opportunity to register your interest with just 5,000 naira. With 5,000 naira, you can secure your spot, and you can always make the rest of the payment before August 1st. Please do not sleep on this one. Please, please, please do not sleep on this one. So right now, we're going to take a quick message because we have time. We still have another session after now. So we're not going to take too much of your time.
This is the Conference.
Christine Buchtel, an award-winning author, lives in Denver, Colorado. She is a mother of 4 and a grandma. Her parenting career has included many colorful years of being a mom, teacher, volunteer, and parenting note-taker. Her parental note-taking began on a road trip when her kids were very young, as she shared her worries over the approaching teen years with her husband: dating, driving, technology, and curfews. As her husband drove, she wrote their ideas and plans in a notebook. It wasn't pretty, it was barely legible, but it was the start of their most valuable parenting tool, their parenting roadmap. They used it, they added to it, they tweaked it, they shared it with others. Christine has written a book to help other parents get on the same page and begin their own noteworthy parenting roadmaps. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Intentional Parents Conference 2023, Christine Buchtel.
I want to please.
Hello.
Yes, good evening, Christy. Thank you so much for joining us. We are super pumped to receive you from your wealth of knowledge tonight. And I'm sure that, like we say in the church, our lives will not remain the same. So you have about 40 to 50 minutes to take us on this amazing journey. And I'll be back to take a few questions. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I would like to thank Wendy and the entire TIP team that has pulled this very fruitful conference together for parents. How important this is for all of us raising kids today to have so much information. So it's an honor to be a part of this today, and I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. We all know parenting is hard, and parenting is hard whether you have a plan or you don't have a plan. And so I have parents ask me all the time, why bother taking the time to write out your plans as a parent? And we're going to talk a lot about why that does matter today. So we'll start in. I want you to know that I have a little slideshow here. I'm going to add. let's see if I can get this here. And let's see, I think, oh, I might not be able to. Let's see, I have, can you, let's see, share screen. There we go. Sorry about that. Having some struggles with that. So maybe we'll just have to do it without.
That's fine.
Let's see. Okay. All right.
Is there something we can do to help?
Maybe. I have it lined up right here on the screen, so I'm trying to see if there's a way to pull it up here.
Okay.
And I'm not seeing that. Okay. Well, we are just going to go without that, and that's fine. It's a lot more fun with it, but we'll go without it. So it's a lot like parenting. Okay. All right. So the first quote I have up there, it's from Ben Franklin, and it's that failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And, you know, in life, we do a lot of preparing for parenting or for other things besides parenting in our lives. And why would we want to prepare for parenting? Well, I think that right now, these generations of parents are dealing with some of the hardest changes that we've ever had. You have social changes, technology changes. You've listened to many talks about these issues. And if you take the time to plan for what you know you're going to need for your parenting, that gives you an opportunity to learn and to understand the new things that are coming at you. So, what do we know about parenting? We know that we need to teach our kids life skills, how to cook, how to take care of themselves, how to be financially responsible. But we don't know what's coming for us in the future. It could be a new social media platform or a video game or artificial intelligence that we're going to have to learn how to parent as we go. So if we start with a good foundation by having a parenting plan, that gives us the opportunity to have a fallback and to monitor how our parenting is going with the things that we already know are going to exist and the things that we already know we're going to have to parent. So having a parenting plan, it helps you to teach your kids over time instead of teaching them all the important life lessons as they're 18 years old and ready to leave the house. It gives you an opportunity, it gives them an opportunity to learn in little increments of time because, you know, if you just try to teach everything at once, it's hard for them to remember. It's hard for them to understand. So taking the time to spread out your teaching and their learning makes that, cements that learning in much better than just trying to do it in the moment or by the seat of your pants. So today, what I want to do is I would like to walk you through what it looks like to create a parenting plan. And in my book, I start with the word ideas, and it's an acronym. So I will start with the first letter is imagine your concerns. And that's not hard to do today. There's a lot of reason to have a lot of concerns about how to raise your kids. So you start with the things that you want to make sure that you teach your kids. So I suggest that people make a list. You sit down at some point that you have time and you write down all the things that you want to teach your kids over the time that you have them. They may be things that you don't want to teach until they're older or they're teenagers, but at least you have a list and you're taking it out of your brain and putting it on to, you know, paper so you can have that brain space to use for other things. And you keep a running list of the things that you want and that are important to you to mentor your kids in and to teach your kids. The next part of imagining your concerns is to pick the top 3 topics that you want to teach your kids and start planning for now. It's too overwhelming to start with the whole list and create a parenting plan. But what I recommend is that you start with the top 3 concerns that you have and start planning strategies for how you want to move through it. It may be teaching them chores, it may be teaching them financial management, it may be trying to get a good bedtime routine in place or helping your children with homework. So, whatever your top 3 are, start there. The other thing I like to mention at this point is we start where we are today. So, how old are your kids today? Are they infants? Are they toddlers? Are they approaching their teenage years? Wherever you and your family are, that's where you begin your parenting plans. So decide on those top 3 topics for where your kids are today. And then also remember that no parenting plan is going to be exactly alike. So your neighbors, your friends are all going to have a different parenting plan than you are. Their kids have different personalities. Their kids have different needs. Those parents have different personalities and ways to raise their kids and different priorities than you do. So we shouldn't be worried about how other people are parenting, but how we are going to parent and what's going to work best for our parenting and our kids as we raise them. So I like to also say that parenting is not about keeping up with each other. It's not about comparing ourselves to each other. It's about teaming up and working together so that we're supporting each other in our endeavor to raise our kids. So remember that when you're looking to get support from other parents, or you may have great ideas to share as you're imagining your concerns for your parenting plans. What's important to you may not be as important to somebody else. Maybe their child does their homework and your child struggles to do homework. So we're all working on this together. So the first piece of the idea is that you imagine concerns. You make your list, you pick your top 3, you start where you are. And then the next piece of strategies. And that's the D, IDE. E is for enlisting others. So these are the next 2 parts of the plan. Developing your strategies is where you take all the information that you come across for parenting. And there's a lot of it out there. I think the last time I checked, there was over 80,000 books on Amazon related to parenting. There's blogs, there's this lovely platform called the TIP Conference and the Inner Circle that you may be a part of, where you get all kinds of information and support. You take all of that and you put it all together. You need to separate out the pieces that work for you in your parenting. So what are the takeaways that you think will really benefit your family and your kids when you read an article or a book or you hear some advice? Take those pieces that work for you and leave the rest. If something isn't going to work for you, separate that out. There is a lot of advice out there, and you need to find what's going to work the best for you and your family. And again, it goes back to, while you're developing your strategies and you're enlisting other people to help you, family, friends, people in this TIP community and in your inner circle community that are parenting with the same questions and dilemmas that you have, participate in those conversations, lean on each other, help each other out to come up with strategies. One sidebar I'd like to say is I think technology is such a difficult topic to tackle for parents. There's so many things out there to keep on top of, and it keeps changing so quickly. So I, in my book, have recommended that people have a technology team, have a team of parents that works together. Maybe one parent is really good with finding the best cell phone plans for a kid, and the best child protection software. Maybe another parent is really good about looking into what apps are safe and what apps aren't safe. Use each other as resources so everybody isn't having to do all the work by themselves. So as you've got your ideas, your 3 topics you're going to start with, you start formulating your routines and your strategies, and you're working with other people to kind of flesh that out. You're talking with your spouse, and you're coming up with how you want your parenting to look, how you want your routines to look, how you want consequences to look. And then you move from this into writing your parenting roadmap. So I call it authoring, authoring your parenting roadmap. So it's part of that whole idea word. And when you author your parenting roadmap, you need to consider, how do you like to take your notes? So do you like to take your notes online? Do you have budgets? Are all your, lists and things that you do to manage your household on the computer? Or do you prefer to do it in a notebook or on your phone with all the apps that are out there that can help people organize your bills and all those things? So what is the best way and the easiest way that you could maintain a parenting roadmap and all of your notes for parenting? It should be something that's accessible to both parents, so that when one isn't around, if you need to look up what you thought the rules were or the routines were that you set up, that you can go back and check and see what the rule and routine was that you set up, to make sure that you keep that consistency, because that is a big piece of parenting as well. So it needs to be a method that's easy for you. And some people may use the notebook, some people may use the phone. Again, we're all different. So we need to pick something that we know we can stick with and use it and pull it out regularly. It needs to be accessible to both parents. And as kids get older, it should be accessible to the older kids. They can be a part of knowing what's in your parenting plan, so they know the rules and the routines and can follow them as well. The other important piece about writing your parenting notes and your roadmap is to have your notes organized. And so when I first wrote mine with my husband, we were in the car. I was writing in a notebook, and it was just a big mess of notes. And when we got home, we took that big mess of notes and we organized them. And what I recommend to parents is that you organize your notes by age, so that when you go back to look for something, or notes maybe on how to have a tough talk about sex, or how to teach them financial management, you can go back to each section of the age and find it. And it's just a better way for you to be able to go back and utilize your notes. It's also a good idea to have your files and your notebook set up by age, in case you come across some great ideas for out in the future. So if you have a 10-year-old today and somebody has a really great idea for a teenager, you can go to your section on teenagers and write that note in there so that you don't forget it. And you'll have it there waiting for you when it's time for you to have a teenager. And you'll be so thankful that you had that note in there. So I'm going to try and show you. I have the journal here, and what I do, and you can just use a notebook. You can use an online file, whatever works for you. But what I want to show you is I have it marked for each age. So, if you were to go through this book, you would see, let me pull one up here. Here's one for middle school. So this would be the section that would be for that, or the early teen years. And then I just have a bunch of blank pages that are just ready for parenting notes. And then here's high school. So this would be older teenagers. And then again, space for people to put their notes in. So, and let me show you, I have a little sample in here. This would be my style. Most people are organized and like to be on computers, and I like notebooks. So it's probably a little backwards, maybe, I'm not sure, but you can just add your notes as you need to. So your parenting roadmap doesn't have to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be perfectly written with perfect spelling and grammar. It's a document for you to use. And we're busy parents. We don't have time to be perfect. We have time to be intentional and purposeful. And that's what this is for. So whether you are using files on, if you have a main file on your computer that says parenting plan, and inside your parenting plan, if you are just starting out with a new baby, you might have infant stage, and then you'd have another file for toddler stage and another file, as the years go on. Pick about 2 to 5 years for each section that you can take your notes in. So the other benefit to this is it helps you plan with the mind of a teacher. So I was a teacher, and I wish I would have become a teacher before I became a parent. It would have helped a lot. But alas, I did after I was a parent. And the beauty of the teacher's plans is that they plan out the whole, the week, the year, the month. They plan ahead, and they teach in little bits at a time. And that's how we should be teaching our kids, not in one big chunk. Not just saying it. I learned this too. A lot of times as a parent, I thought, well, I just need to tell them one time. I just need to show them how to make their bed once, and magically they're going to understand and do it. And that didn't happen. But when I was a teacher, I learned that it takes time. You show the kids, you show them again. You do it with them a few times. So I should have shown them to make the bed. I should have made their bed with them a few times together to teach them and to talk with them and to reinforce that teaching. And then they can take that on their own. But a lot of times we assume that we say it once and they should get it. And so it's a little bit of a backup plan when you have a parenting roadmap mapped out. So in a certain section, I could have said, I want to spend time just making sure that they're with me when I make the bed. And then when they get a little older, I'm going to spend time and they're going to help me make the bed. And then eventually they're going to be able to do it on their own. And then we'll go on to the next task. That's a simple task. You may not need a parenting plan for teaching a kid how to make a bed. You may want to save it for bigger items like, teaching them financial management, etc. But just to give you an idea, it makes teaching easier and it makes learning easier for your kids. It also helps set expectations. If we go back to that bed making scenario, while I'm working with the kids and showing them, they understand what the expectations are because I've taken the time to show them and to work with them and to make sure that they see what is a well-made bed and what is not a well-made bed, or what needs to be fixed about it. So those kinds of conversations, that kind of coaching and mentoring happens when you can, like a teacher, spread that learning out over time. So it's kind of also, you'll be able to look back someday and see all the things you taught and you did for your kids. It's going to be, kind of a journal of how you raised your kids. So you can look back and you don't have regrets saying, oh, I wish I would have taught my kids to volunteer and be a better citizen, or I wish I would have taught them better financial management, or I should have spent more time talking with them about sex education. You look back and you see all of your hard work. And it also can be an excellent resource for your kids when they become parents. They may not be able to parent the same way you do. They're going to have new challenges, but they can look and see that you planted the seed of being a great parent by taking the time to write out your plans and be intentional about what you wanted to teach them as a parent and what's important to learn, and character and your customs, your religion, All of those can be worked into your parenting plan so they don't get forgotten and they don't fall through the cracks. So, authoring your roadmap is important, and selecting where you want to keep it, a notebook or on your computer or on your phone, and then setting up the different files. So you can just add your notes as you need to and as you come across good ideas, or as you are ready for that next stage, or those next 3 topics that are on your list of concerns that you have. So the last letter in the ideas word is S, and S stands for solutions. So when you're creating your parenting roadmap, it's not going to be perfect. And you're going to have solutions that maybe need a little updating or fixing, or you might need to scratch something out and try again, or just fix a little tiny piece of it. So, be prepared for that, and it's better to have a plan that didn't work and you can fix than having no plan at all. So, remember, we're not all perfect, and if I had my little drawings up here, you'd have a little laugh at that. Maybe I can pull one up, show you on the book or from the book. But, you know, just know that you're gonna have to update and tweak it. And you also, for things like, you're not gonna have your child go to bed at 7:30, possibly when they're, 16 years old. They'll probably have a later bedtime, or they'll have different homework routines or different chores they're responsible for. So it's definitely a process that you don't need to do all in one day, and you can do as you go along, but to try and stay ahead of what the next stage is for your kids. So, in the solutions, your plan will probably need some updating and some changes here and there. The biggest piece of the solutions part is to use your plan. If you've put this effort into creating routines, consequences, goals for your family, anything that's been important to you, and you take this notebook and you put it in a drawer and forget about it, it's not going to do you any good. You have to use it. You have to keep it out. You have to keep it available where you can see it. Make a date on your calendar once a month or once every couple months to check in on your plan with your spouse, so that you can update what's coming next. You can fix what's not working. You can add to it so that you're prepared. Okay, so the basic idea, these were the basic ideas so you can set up your parenting plans. And now what I would like to share with you is just some tips and things along, for along the way. I want to share with you that I believe that this is a foundational piece of parenting. We plan for business meetings. Coaches strategize for games in athletics. Teachers plan. And why don't we plan for our parenting? It is the single most important job we are here for, is our kids. And to think ahead about how we want to manage all the things that they need to learn is a critical piece, I believe, in parenting. It allows you to have the confidence that you need when your child may be having a fit, or you have something going wrong, or they've made a wrong choice. We all know that that can get us emotionally upset or angry. And in those moments, I know I don't make the best choices in those moments. I would have rash decisions or over punish, and then only to have to maybe go back and adjust the punishment I made, or apologize and have a talk, after we've cooled down. If you have a parenting plan with consequences set already, rules for your house set already, routines set for your house, and your child makes a wrong decision, or they're throwing a fit, you have a plan. You can get a little upset, but you then can realize, I don't need to worry because I already have a plan in place and I'm going to implement my plan. I'll implement the consequence for this. And then I'm going to coach and mentor my child after they've calmed down, and they will have the consequence, whatever, however that looks for you, because again, every parent and family is a little bit different. But you have that backup plan, so to speak. So that's a huge feature for having a parenting plan as well. Another tip I like to offer people is to have a few sentences ready for those moments when things come up or your kids ask you questions and you aren't sure of the answer. And that happens a lot. So maybe they came across something somebody texted and they don't know what the word means. Maybe they've been misinformed about something about sex and you don't know where that came from and you are not prepared to answer the question in the moment. I like to say have a couple of backup, quotes that you can use. So one of them would be, "Wow, that's a really good question, and I'm going to have to look into that. Can I have some time to research that and let's talk about it tonight, or let's talk about it tomorrow morning?" Or if your child asks something that maybe isn't appropriate that the younger kids hear, you can say, "That's a great question. Can we talk about it at bedtime?" So that maybe not everybody's around when you're having an older kid conversation and there's younger kids around. I think we have to normalize the fact that we don't know everything, but we can look to find answers. That models excellent behavior for our kids. That when you don't know something, it's great to ask and we'll look into it and then we'll discuss it. So that gives you an opportunity to go back and find the answers that you need and then meet up again with your child to discuss whatever that topic happened to be. And that happens a lot, especially as kids are young teenage, approaching their teen years and in the teen years that those things come up. And I think with the teenagers, they like your the fact that you genuinely may not know, and you genuinely will want to look it up and be honest with them and straightforward about what something means, so that you can have a conversation. They know they can trust you. So, another good thing to have in your parenting plan. I talk a lot about how to set up the plan and the reasons to have a plan. But sometimes I feel people can walk away and think, wow, there's all this advice out there, but how do I implement it? Or what are some strategies that I can use, for setting up routines or discipline, etc. And so what I would like to do is I'd like to share with you just a couple for you to think about, because I know when we first started setting up our plan, I didn't have a lot of strategies until I was going back to school to become a teacher. And there were a lot of aha moments in that for me. So, one thing is, of course, to be prepared ahead of time. So the planning ahead, which is why we're talking here today. Another item is to do things like give your kids a heads up. So if you are transitioning or you're leaving or you're going somewhere, write in your parenting plan to reminders for you as a parent, because we need to take a look at ourselves sometimes and think, what can I do to make my parenting easier? And sometimes it's as simple as giving your kids a heads up when it's time to leave. We're going to leave in 10 minutes. So could you make sure that your game is picked up and put away, and I'll set a timer. And when the timer goes off, it'll be time to leave. That makes transitioning so much easier rather than having a child just have to pick up and leave in the middle of something that they're doing. We all struggle with that. Even adults struggle with that. Giving kids a heads up is also a good idea when you've planned ahead, and maybe it's time for your child to take on some expenses. Maybe they're in their teen years and they need to start learning, to help pitch in or pay for something. You can say, I just want you to know that when, your birthday comes in another 6 months, that we would like for you to learn what it's like to, maybe buy your clothes, or and maybe something small, but something that is important for them to start learning to take care of themselves. It could be doing a different chore that maybe is a little bit a heftier chore that you think that they're old enough for, so that they can mentally prepare for that, and start thinking about what that's going to look like for them when they take on something new. Or you can talk about what it's going to be like when they move out and go away to university. In 6 months, you're going to be leaving. What things are you concerned about? What things should we talk about? What would you like me to help you prepare for? So thinking about those things ahead of time and training your kids to do that as well is, a great opportunity for us as parents. Another tool to have in your toolbox that we forget about a lot as parents, I do, I shouldn't say we, maybe you all do this all the time, is have books on hand to read with your kids that teach lessons. So for younger kids, it's an excellent opportunity to sit and enjoy a book with your child that teaches a lesson. And it may be a lesson that your child needs to learn in the moment, and you purposefully go find a book. So let's say sharing. They're not sharing, they're struggling with sharing. So you find a couple of fun stories about sharing, and you read it during a time that is maybe bedtime story, or whenever you would like to sit and enjoy a book with your child, and talk about the characters and talk about the choices that they've made and how that choices they made affected other people in the story. And then when the time comes, and it will, that they aren't sharing again, you can refer back to that book. You can say, remember the book we read, and what did the characters do, and what do you think you should do at this time period? Do and they can connect to a story that you shared in a loving way, and that now they can look at it and see themselves in that, and how not sharing is affecting them and somebody else. So instead of us always telling our kids what to do, or nagging, or getting angry, or raising our voices, if we do these subtle things along the way, like read books and give kids a heads up, it saves us time from repeating directions. I said it's time to go, it's time to go, it's time to go. Instead, the buzzer goes off, or the timer goes off, and the kids know it's time to go. Will they perfectly do it in the beginning? Maybe not, but you'll have to practice. Just like the bed making scenario, you may have to practice a few times before they can really get it right. But these are little subtle ways that we can put these things into our parenting plans to help us teach our kids lessons in a way that isn't just telling them all the time. It's making it enjoyable for you, reading stories and them. It's building up family bonding. It's making family life fun. Because I think in society today, the battleground, as we're talking here today, it's a tough battleground. And it's very easy to get caught up in the fact that there's so much to do, and we're kind of angry at society and technology and all these things, to forget that loving, fun, nurturing part of being a parent too. So we get to remember to have those good times, even though the world outside is a little crazy, to take time to find ways to teach and mentor your kids to, invite more of a loving situation. And then, I hope those are good tips for you to take away. Another one I like to do is use body language. Instead of your child's not doing something, you can kind of lower your eyebrows a little bit, and not say a word, and they'll look up and they know what you mean, and they'll start doing what you need. Or if they've done something fantastic, walk into the room without saying anything and be so happy and so excited, and then they'll giggle because you're not saying anything, but you're animated. There's just a lot of ways to mentor your kids that's a little, that's fun. and builds those bonds, that you need, because as you build those bonds, that's what gives you the respect that you need in order to coach them and mentor them when they're struggling, and coach and mentor them when they haven't made the right choice or decision, or they're on a wrong path. It builds that trust, so that you can mentor and teach them and then let go, and let them, grow up and let them do these things for themselves. So, that's a lot. I've given you a lot of information, and I hope and not overwhelmed too much, and not inserted too many things for you. But parenting is a hard, and again, it's hard whether you have a plan or you don't have a plan. But it seems to me that if you plan for the things that puberty is coming. You need to talk to your kids about puberty and sex. How can you break that out into a plan by age so that you have notes? You have notes in your preteen years that you can tell your kids about puberty and what's coming. And then you have notes in a little bit later years that you can talk more about sex and continue the conversation. What do you want to say? Write down what you want to say. It's like preparing for a talk like this today. Know what you want to say. Use resources. There's great books out there that can help you with the words that you need to talk with your kids about these things. Write the page numbers down of the wisdom that's in those books. So when the time comes to sit down with your children and talk about that, you'll have those resources right at your fingertips, and you can go directly to the page. So that's a lot. A lot.
Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you very much. That was quite a lot to soak in. It has a way, the way you spoke, it has a subtle way of, I don't know if I was the only one feeling that way. It was just entering like, it's more like a baby being put to bed, and I was able to soak it all in. Thank you so much. We appreciate it for sharing your knowledge with us today. And the comment section, people have been picking their own. And I must re-emphasize this, based on what we have already in the inner circle. We already have the parent launch plan. And for those who are not yet in the inner circle, if most of us hearing this thing, we have an idea of what this is. We journal every day. There's something. We will submit our report card by the end of November, right? So, this parent launch plan is going to help us. According to what she has said, we have answers. We already know we have like prepared answers because of the things we have learned, and we are prepared, sort of. Yeah, we are really prepared for the questions that come. That's how we are keeping up with the Jones. We are keeping up with the technology. We are keeping up. You said we should team up. We can team up with other parents with similar values. We also coach at every point in time. We have our monthly seminars. We bring our topics that are prevailing, and we take our time to discuss this thing, and it keeps us aware. We have a slang we say here, we are aware of the situation of things. Thank you. I'm going to give you a water break while we take a few questions afterwards. Coach, do you have some words to say, ma?
Thank you so much, Christine. And this is so amazing. This will be the second time Christine will be at the TIP annual conference. Amazing as always. The first time that I heard her share about noteworthy parenting, and I was like, oh wow. So the parenting needs to be noteworthy. Yeah, if you want to put it like that. There was something she said that was very striking for me, particularly, was the part of documentation to generation. So I am a legacy person. I am of the opinion that we need to document our lives to be able to find the next generation what it is that we've been able to do. I do not understand why we should live a life and there are no traces of you. I do not understand why there are no documentation of the things that you have done. I do not understand why I need to parent and I'm scrambling. I cannot see a base to be able to start from, to be able to fly. So imagine that my child has a base with my own launch plan. We call it launch plan, right? With my own launch plan, and my child is looking at that base, and then my child is able to now add whatever it is
Yeah.
that they now learn on their journey, it becomes a lot more easy. You know, we're talking about parenting being war. There's a saying, I have this quote that says parenting is war. Where you stop is where the next generation actually
Yes.
starts. So whatever it is, you provide the baseline for the next generation to be able to now say, oh, okay, my parents did this. I can do this a lot more better. And this is why they did it. So it's easier for me to actually be able to do it.
Mm.
Thank you again, Kristen. That was absolutely amazing. Over to you, Tolu.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coach Mom. We're gonna look out for questions. So, guys, if you have questions, please drop in. And I know this was really calm and soothing, but probably we have some questions to take. Okay, we have one question here from Titi. All right. How long would it take to create this plan or journal, especially as we will be creating for different stages in the children's stages or journal? Christine, over to you.
Great question, because I threw out so much information out there. And what I say is it's kind of a process along your parenting. So you start with maybe those 3 things that are maybe keeping you up at night or that you're concerned about. Start with those 3 and then keep building on it. So that's why you go back and you look at your plan every month and you see what's coming next and you add to it and you add to it. So it's not something that you would sit down and write the whole thing. We won't write the whole thing in one day or weekend. You start it, and then it's a continual process on your journey as you need, to add to it. So I would say, if you spent, a little bit of time, and sometimes you're going to have to spend a little more time, sometimes a little less time, depending on where your kids are at and what you're facing. And maybe an hour a month, kind of tweaking it. It might be 2 hours or 3 hours if you're headed into some, serious topics with your teenager or whatever. But to stay on top of it and just keep adding to it. And don't expect to sit down and write the whole thing today. That would be too much, too hard to do.
That is not even possible.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
Yes, it's a journey. A
Yeah.
journey for sure.
Thank you. We do not seem to have more questions at this time. Thank you so much, Christine, for your time.
All right, Christine, thank you so much. Yes. Go ahead, Tolu,
Thank
please.
you.
I wanted to say a big thank you to Christine. Coach, for me, this, it's a reminder of the things of course, we hear your voice in our heads every day. That's normal. It's more like our wake-up call. The moment you wake up, there's a voice note waiting for you already to listen to start your day. So it's more like a reminder of the things you've been telling us on daily basis, and we appreciate your effort also. Christine, thank you so much for this reinforcement, and thank you for the manner of teaching, because it was quite, for me, it was really soothing. It was really soothing because it could get overwhelming, like you said. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
Thank
Coach, over to
you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, everybody. Christine is on Instagram as Noteworthy Parenting. All right, you know how we do it. Please follow Christine. I'm going to share that on the screen. All right, follow Christine on Instagram on Noteworthy Parenting. Please go on Instagram, follow her, tag her, and share what you have learned from this session. All right, this session was very illuminating, and I'm sure for a lot of people who have never been in any academy before, this is going to be something new for you. It's new knowledge, all right? So it's a lot of new. I'm sure the parents in the inner circle are feeling fly right now. When I say they're probably feeling
we are trying to wear our humility at Madam.
So it is new knowledge, and there's a lot to take away from it. All right, write what you have learned, tag our speaker, go say thank you. Christine is one of the people that
thank you.
All I need to do is just say, Christine, please, you need to be at, and he says, which day? And that's all it takes for Christine to be here.
Yes.
I love you. Thank you so much for being here, always and always. Please, what will be your last words?
I love you too. Thank you. I thank you so much. You have a fantastic platform for parents. It's amazing. And the support they get is just, it's beautiful. And I love it. I love to see it growing. And it's an honor every time. So thank you so much for letting me speak today.
Thank you so much, Christine. It is an honor to have you on this platform. Please, guys, go and follow Christine and let her know that we actually an army. All right, that's how we follow. Thank you so much, Christine, and see you again. All righty, thank you, Tolu too. Tolu,
Thank you, Mama.
and Yada. I like Yadas, and so everybody you've seen moderating today is a parent in the inner circle. Yadas are built to be everything, right?
Maybe we should adjust our shirts. Yadas, can you just in the comment section you can adjust your shirt.
That's a good one. Thank you so much, Tolu Lope Wisdom. That was a fantastic job out there. Thank you so much for joining me. And to everybody who is watching us, Tolu, people that are not in the inner circle, what word do you have for them?
I thought you were gonna. I already planned that. I was gonna say, Coach, please let me say this one before I go. See, for me, I live in the diaspora, so parenting is a bit overwhelming for me. Doing a 9 to 5, and there's no structure. The way we were raised. There's no. We were just, especially if you live in face me, I face you. The kind of parenting you got. So, and to have children, to have children without structure. One of the things, and it's a testimony for me, guys. One of the things TIP did for me is to give me structure. We didn't have a bedtime in my home until I joined TIP. Anytime you feel like sleeping, go and sleep. But having a bedtime, having structures helped me personally and helped me in my relationship with my children. Now I know how to connect better even with my kids. And when they ask me some kind of questions, I don't black out, because someone in the inner circle probably had gone through that, Coach has shared. So I just want to encourage you. You have 3 days to enjoy 30,000 Naira discount. Hey, do you know what 30,000 is in dollars? You have 3 days to enjoy this discount. You don't just want, see the information is under your screen. Please check it out. 3 days, you just have to show your interest with 5,000. Like somebody said, shawarma money. With that shawarma money, you can secure your slot and you finish up your payment before December 1st, because by then the academy will be fully open to start a new session. Thank you so much, Coach, for this opportunity. I do not take it for it. Standing with you on the high stage is a dream come true for me. Thank you so much, ma. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tolu. Thank you. That was so sweet. Thank you so much, Tolu. Thank you for the honor. Thank you for thank you to all of the others, our moderators. We're going to be back here at 7:30. At 7:30, we're going to be having my mentor come to speak. He has spoken on TIP Annual Conference from day one till now, 6 times back to back. Trust me, you want to listen to Barrister Taiwo Akinlami in the next 30 minutes, all right? And when you listen to him, you will know where this comes from, right? And then, it will be easy for you to actually be able to trace some of these things. But very most importantly, like Tolu said, the inner circle fee. In fact, the team reminded me today, Antema, in this thing, don't come and say anything about this. You do not have the authority to change the deadline. I said, I don't, and I'm not going to be part of it. The inner circle fee changes on the 31st of July from 70,000 to 100,000 for single slot. For couple slots, it changes from 120,000 to 170,000.
170.
So if you book your slot between now and that 31st, with 5,000 Naira, you will be able to pay this old fee. But if you don't, you will pay the new fee. And trust me, even with the new fee, it is underpriced. So this is not me trying to get you feel good and all of that. I do not think that over 3,000 people can be saying the same thing and lying. People in high authorities, all over the world cannot be lying, telling a lie at the same time. But it is one program that will change your life, not just your parenting. It will change you. So it's not even just about parenting. It's about your whole life and the way you see things and the way you think things. There was something Coach Omolola Okonwa said earlier. She said that one of the things that she realized was when I kept saying that ability to research is a skill. She said she didn't get it until she learned how to. Some of the things we do is to learn how to, really. So I urge you to be there. I will be glad personally to be your coach if you allow me to, and to show you that there is a better way to parenting. And if you can, then it's a move that you're never going to regret. Thank you so much, Tolu, for being here with me. See you
so
guys
much,
at the next session. All right. Chrissy Sweken said Grand Commander Taiwo Akinlami. Yes, yes, yes. It's gonna be here soon. All right. Thank you, and see you at 7:30 for the last session.
Yes, it was 2018. In 2018, I got really worried about the way parenting was going in our times. And I was genuinely angry, right? Like I was angry. What was happening around me? And I knew that if nothing was done about the parenting that I saw, as at that time, there was going to be a problem. So in 2018, we got the mandate to start the Intentional Parent Academy. And we went live 1st January 2018. But that wasn't enough. We needed platforms. We needed avenues to be able to reach people, to be able to teach, educate, and get people to understand that parenting was a big job. And then we got the mandate to start the Intentional Parent Academy Annual Conference, which started in the same year in 2018. Join me as I walk you through the journey of the Intentional Parent Academy Annual Conference in the past 6 years. We have evolved. It's been a journey. Join me as I take you through that journey today. The Intentional Parent Annual Conference was just a subset of this mandate that have been given to me. So I knew that if nothing is done, we were headed for a disaster. So in my anger, I moved. And that was one of the biggest decisions I would have to take in my life. And thinking about it now in retrospect, if they had told me that this is what it takes to be able to uphold a mandate like this, honestly, I can't be truthful to you, I would say that I'm not doing this anymore. And you know, the TIP annual conference became a subset, and it was our way of giving back to the world. It was our way of saying that, see, parenting is not about tips and hacks. There is more that we need to offer. Now, within the broader scope of the Intentional Parenting Mission, the TIP annual conference emerged as a way for us to actually do our mandate in a bigger scale. Now, our journey commenced in 2018, not knowing exactly how we would accomplish our goals. So I tell you a very funny story. So when we got the mandate to host the conference, you know, I went ahead and I said to myself, who do I tell that I want to do a conference online and stream online? It wasn't a common thing 6 years ago. And then moreover, it wasn't even something people believed in. Like, you're teaching us intentional parenting. Who are you? Why are you teaching us intentional parenting? Like, you're teaching us parenting. We already know how to parent. So it was not something that people wanted to key into. It wasn't something people wanted to become part of. Now, there were 3 people who were giving to us on the journey that today I do not take for granted. 2 of them are speaking at this annual conference currently. And one of them spoke at last year's annual conference, has become, a speaker, almost every year. That was ZOB, Taiwo Akinlami, who is my mentor, and then my beloved, very beloved sister-in-law, who is Eyitayo Iyotin.
these were people, I believe, that didn't even know what I was talking about, yet they just felt, if this small girl is saying that this thing, there's something in it, then we should actually listen and join her to push this out to the world. I met DOB online, and she was someone that I had followed, and I was enjoying the way she talks about, parenting her children, and she was the homeschooling queen. And then I approached her, and she said, "Oh, I love what you do, and I would like to be part of it." And then I approached. It was not so difficult to get my sister-in-law to get on the boat. She just said, "We are in it together. Come, let's do it. Let's do it." And then it was Taiwo Akinlami. I had met Taiwo Akinlami, barrister Taiwo Akinlami, the preacher, at another conference. That was the very first online conference I had spoken at. And then I had met him and I listened to him, talk. And it was so obvious that there was something about this man that I wanted. So I immediately started to follow him, started to, meet him, started to connect with him. And when the mandate came, I had connected to barrister to a certain level. So I spoke to him, and then he said, "Yes, I'm going to do this with you." So there was it. 3 people and myself, and a TIP annual conference took place, 2018. What a journey. Who would have thought that today we're going to be doing TIP annual conference in this scale and magnitude? And when they spoke, it was like a something that had never happened before. That was even before the pandemic, 2018. People didn't know what online streaming, wasn't common and all of that. And after that conference, I knew that we'd be launched into a realm of not going back. So sometimes when I get tired and I say, "You know what, I'm not doing this anymore," and I remember, you have been launched into a realm of not going back. And then in 2019, the TIP annual conference became big. It moved from 3 speakers to 24 speakers in a year. What happened? In 2018, I had the TIP community in Facebook has started to grow, and it has grown to about 12,000 people in the community. And somehow we got the attention of the Facebook Inc., which is now Meta, and they reached out to me, and eventually I would become a Facebook global leader. We were 113 all over the world, and I became a Facebook global leader representing Abuja. We were only 3 in Nigeria, and that exposed me to global influence. I was able to meet people from all over the world who were playing in the same industry where I was playing. I was privileged to represent Africa at the 2019 Parenting Global Conference at the Facebook headquarters in California. And at that, forum, being engaged at that, level, I started to meet people from all over the world. I started to engage. And that was when I knew that the TIP conference mandate was a mandate to reach the globe. It wasn't a mandate to just reach Nigeria. The Bible says that you are the light of the world and the salt of the earth. So Nigeria is not the earth, neither is it the world. So we needed to reach the world. And the way to reach the world, the internet is a blessing. It's made it a blessing to be able to reach the world. And then it gave me access to people. And I started to, run and then connect with people at that level. And that was how we got into the global streaming level. That was how our conferences became something that we would do globally, having speakers from all over the world. That year, we had speakers from Germany, we had speakers from India, we had speakers from Jamaica, we had speakers from Australia. It was something else. It looked like we had broken the ceiling. It looked like, there was nothing more that was going to come. By the following year, which was 2019, our team in 2018 focused on parenting as a united front. Are we ready? In 2019, our team we explored parenting for a better future.
And then by 2020, we began to dive deeper, creating a better world through parenting. And at the Better World Through Parenting, it was massive. We had 30 speakers. We had people, streaming live concurrently from all over the world. And it was an amazing experience. And we thought that the TIP Annual Conference had become yet bigger. And in 2021, we tackled Parenting Today for Tomorrow. That was the theme. Amazing outing. 32 speakers everywhere, very amazing. And we streamed online, having thousands of people watch, at each of the sessions. The interesting thing, by 2020, we explored the parenting advantage. Each of these teams at the TIP Annual Conference has been given to us. None of them have come as something that, we just go out there and it's just, pick it there and just, work. One of my very close people, Pastor Wisdom Osiri, will say some things are taught, some things are caught. Wendy, what you do is caught. And believe you me, many of these things, they are caught. They are not particularly learned in that way that you think. Now, when we did the parenting advantage, it was, I don't know how to describe it. There were moments where I watched the parenting advantage and I just had tears in my eyes. By the time we were done at the parenting advantage, we had made 1.8 impressions on YouTube. And it's become, the TIP Annual Conference has become a place where parents actually clear schedule every year last week in July to be in attendance. People have taken leaves. People clear their schedule. People see that it's place to say, you know what, it's TIP Annual Conference in this year and we are going to clear it up. And this year, proudly, we present to you the TIP Annual Conference that is themed the battlefield of parenting. Now, with the tagline, parenting is war. People have asked, why this tagline? Why this, theme? Because I have come to a place where I've realized that whatever it is that we are fighting today, if we don't finish fighting it, the next generation continues to fight it. The battles you don't fight today, the next generation continues to fight that battle. The battles you don't finish, the next generation carries it on. And I say in my words that parenting is war. How you fight is how you finish. Where you stop is where the next generation takes off from. The issues you don't fight today, your children are going to continue to fight it. The anger you don't fight today is, it just runs in our family. The healing you don't heal today, you leave it to the next generation to continue. So that is what the TIP Annual Conference this year is about. The battlefield of parenting. Parenting is war. We're not talking about physical war. We're talking about the psychological war, the spiritual war that is faced, the emotional war that is faced with us. And we are in super perilous times. When people ask me, do you think that parenting today, what's happening and all of that? And I say to them, what will come will come. It was Pastor Olakunle Shoyinro, who was the keynote speaker last year at the TIP Annual Conference, that said, what will come will come. It doesn't matter how much you battle with it. And I say, what has come has come. There's nothing we can do about it. What we can do about it is to get into safety. What the parents in the academy, the inner circle, will call the ark. Get into a system that preserves you. Right now is about preservation. It's about separation. We have come a long way since our humble beginnings. Our inaugural conference only had around 20 participants and enthusiastically engaging and sharing their experiences. Trust me, the way we are doing TIP Annual Conference this year is the way we have done it in 2018. All right, this event took place in our community, and that community was just about 5,000 people as at the time we streamed live in 2018. Today we're streaming live with over 10,000 people who are registered, participating actively. We're streaming live on our community of over 20,000 people participating actively at this conference. Such an honor, such a blessing, and it is something that we do not take for granted. People say that what will be your greatest win? Every time they ask me, what will be your greatest win in TIP annual conference this year? And I repeat the same thing. We have entered into the grace of men. And that was 2 years ago, and I can tell you that we keep expanding on what the ministry of men means. We have been blessed by men. We have been blessed by people. We have been blessed by people who go extra mile to see that the TIP annual conference becomes a success every year. We have partners who have gone through a lot to be able to ensure that this conference comes to you at no charge. The TIP annual conference is to run with us solely funding. Right now we have partners who join us to fund the TIP annual conference so that people like you can have access to the TIP annual conference without having to pay money. But believe you me, you are paying something as well. You're paying attention. Attention is paid. You're paying with your time. You need to pay something to be able to gain for what it is that we have paid. We might have, committed financial resources to this. But then again, there is the part of your own commitment. If you don't do it, all of these becomes null and void. So I call on you participating today, that you take the TIP annual conference as the place, the mountain of answers. I like the way that the TIP Inner Circle parents have named the TIP annual conference the parenting Shiloh of our time. You're looking for where you're going to get answers for your parenting journey. You are at the right place. So this is me. And I say, ladies and gentlemen, we warmly welcome you to the TIP Annual Conference 2023, themed The Battlefield of Parenting, with the tagline, Parenting is War. Together, we will continue to make a positive impact and shape the future of parenting. We're not relenting. We're here till the end of time. And as we fulfill this year's mandate to give you access to superior knowledge, we welcome you. Thank you. Sit back, enjoy it here. Make sure that you take out this wisdom and ensure that you use them on your journey. My name is Wendy Olugi, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. Congratulations to all of you.